لیندا چاوز، مدیر پیشین روابط عمومی کاخ سفید. زنان در ایران جانشان را به خطر انداخته به خیابان‌های شهرهای بزرگ و کوچک در سراسر این کشور می‌آیند تا صدای مقاومت خود را طنین انداز کنند.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And first, I want to give my thanks and appreciation to a woman that I admire so much, and that is Madam Maryam Rajavi, who of course leads the resistance to the regime in Iran. I wish that I were there with you in person, but I could not be. But I am pleased to be with you virtually and in spirit. You were meeting at one of the most perilous moments in history since the end of World War II. Can we imagine what the world would look like if the Iranian regime was able to create and make nuclear weapons? I don't need to tell this message to Maryam Rajavi or to the wonderful people who are in Ashraf 3, many of whom I have met personally. They know what war is like. When they were in Ashraf, both the first Ashraf and the second Ashraf camp in Iraq, rockets rained down on them, killing them. And it was only when they were able to come to Albania, which gave them refuge, that they could live without the fear that they too might die at any moment. You are joined together to talk about women's rights. But frankly, women's rights are indistinguishable from human rights. Women cannot have rights if all humans are not respected. And no country can claim to champion human rights if it does not respect the rights of half of its population. One of the things that we know about Iran, and that is most stark about Iran, is the way in which women's rights are violated. Women are told how they must dress. They are told what professions they may go into. They are kept prisoners by a regime that does not respect basic human dignity. And they have risen up. There are people who have risked their lives to take to the streets of Iran in major cities and in small towns across that country to speak out in resistance. And many times they end up being imprisoned by the Iranian regime. There is resistance. And this year alone, we saw that many of the supporters of the NCRI were able actually to get Maryam Rajavi's photo, her picture, put on television in Iran to replace that of the Khamenei. There must be resistance around the world to the provocations and to the wars that are waged on men and women in all of our nations. And in Iran, we will not see women's rights respected until there is regime change. And one of the people leading that resistance most valiantly, most bravely, and most consistently is Madam Rajavi, who has taken a message to the Iranian people that they must rise up and they must be free. They must be free and have all of the freedoms that those of us who are privileged to live in countries like Germany and the United States and others around the world, that they must have those same rights. But this will not happen without the support of people gathered in rooms like yours around the world. I want to thank Madam Rajavi for her leadership. I want to thank the National Council of Resistance in Iran for the leadership that you have provided to the Iranian people. I want to thank those who have been by the side and have had, unfortunately, to suffer under the regime, those who are in Ashraf 3 now, those who are gathered with you there in Berlin. I ask you all to keep up this fight, the fight for freedom, the fight for rights for women, the fight for rights for all of our children and all of the people going forward. Thank you very much.